Welcome to Content and Conversations, the podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners that want to prioritize connection and relationship as the primary tool to drive sales. Content and conversations are the two most powerful tools you have to attract the most amazing clients, build solid relationships, and sell more stuff. From sales, marketing, energy, and mindset, we'll discuss everything you need to hit your goals, make more money, and have more fun in your business. Let's go. Hello, and welcome back to Content and Conversations Live. I'm your host, Ryan Dowdy, and I want to talk to you about why people want to be in community and how to build community in a meaningful way that is actually going to help you sell more things. So first of all, I missed being live with you all last week, and I actually wasn't going to tell you this, but I'm going to because I feel like it's an important conversation, especially because a large number of you listening are women leaders, and I took a mental health day last week. I was just dealing with a lot of stress. I had a lot going on and just was not 110%, not 110% myself. And so normally I would have powered through that and been like, no, I have these commitments, I have these meetings, I have these things, I have to do it. And I just really gave myself the grace to be like, no, I do not feel 100%. And I'm going to honor the way that I feel more than I'm going to honor these external obligations. And I want you to know that it was really amazing to just take the morning off, to just completely unplug. Wound up popping on later in the day to take a couple of sales calls, but it was really amazing and it was really great. And it wound up catapulting me into a really amazing week, did some travel, did a speaking event. And like I said, I just really wanted to share that with you because I think that we power through so often, right? Like people are counting on me. I must. And yes, sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not, right? Sometimes it's not nearly as important as we think that it is. Sometimes it's not nearly as important, and prioritizing ourselves should be more of a priority for all of us. So I wanted to start with that, but I want to talk about why people want to be in community. So we recently have made a couple of changes to the way that we talk about what we do as an agency. So I like to tell people that the Connection Agency is a sales and marketing technology company. And I really used to talk a lot about lead generation because ultimately that's what I'm passionate about, is the top of the funnel. How do we fill the top of our funnel for our clients? But one of the things that I realized is that the word lead generation is charged in a lot of different ways, and it attracts a lot of different people who are interested in that word lead generation. And while ultimately the work that we do is lead generation, because lead generation is what actually helps you make money, right? But what I really have been leaning into more is audience building and community building, because ultimately the clients that we work with here inside of the agency are people who are really impact driven, right? They're heart driven people. The work that they do, yes, it makes them a lot of money. Yes, it's business, but it's also, for most of our clients, their life's work, right? It's their heart, it's their serve, it's their give back. It's really what keeps them moving every single day. And so sometimes when we say lead generation, it feels really impersonal. It makes people feel like a number. It makes people feel like they're not important. It makes people feel a lot of different ways. So we've really been leaning into this language of community building and audience building. And so what I wanted to take the time to do today in today's show is talk about, why do people want to be in community, and why, if we take this approach of community building to our lead generation, we may be more successful, because it's the energy behind it, right? Like, again, the end result is the same: paying client. That is what we all want, is more paying clients. We want to make a bigger impact, help more people, make more money, all the reasons why we do what we do. But if we can change the energy around, how do we bring people into our ecosystem? How do we bring people into our business? How do we actually convert strangers on the internet to paying clients? How do we do that? When that starts to feel really, really good, then, more people are going to want to be part of our world. So I think there are 3 reasons why people want to be in community, and 3 reasons why we should invite more people into our ecosystem, right? So the reason people want to be in community, first and foremost, is they want to learn, right? We are a society of people who just like to learn. We have been told our entire lives that we need to learn more. I mean, that's literally what we've been taught, is learn. So people want to be part of communities where they feel like they are going to learn something valuable and important, right? So when we just lead gen, we're just trying to throw sales calls on a calendar, we're just trying to qualify a person to buy something, meh. Right? Like, what's in it for the prospect? What's in it for the person on the other end of that DM, the other end of that email, the other end of that phone call, the other end of that whatever, right? Versus when people are part of our community, they're learning from us. And when we learn from people, right, we start to see more value in that people. We start to see that person as an authority. We start to see that person as somebody helpful, right? We start to see that person as somebody that we respect and somebody that we look up to, right? And that's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish, is we want our clients to to have that relationship with us, right? So when we think about, people want to be in community because inside of this community they learn new skills. They get to become better at whatever it is that you do or teach, or the transformation that you provide in your business. So when we think about, okay, well, I want to build a community, it's because we want to educate people. Because we want to educate people. Some people we educate with our free content, some people with our paid content, some with our done for you work, or however your business works, right? But people want to be part of a community where they feel like they are they are getting better. They are getting value out of being there. And again, when we think of the end result, which is paying client, are we going to get more clients out of making our people feel valued, in helping them, in providing value to them, or simply trying to work them through a system to get them to buy something from us? So again, some of this is like my semantics, but some of this is, I want the energy. I want you to what you listen to here today, to really take this energy into your community, take this energy into your business, and think about, how do I build community, right? How do I create a space where people feel like they're learning from me? Because the more that they learn from me, the more of a thought leader I am, right? The more that they learn from me, the more likely they are to trust me. The more that they learn from me, the more likely they're going to be to buy our stuff. So people want to be part of communities because of what they're going to learn there, right? Another reason that people like to be part of communities is because of who they'll meet, right? It is because of who they'll meet. That is literally, I truly believe as humans, we were not meant to do life alone. We are meant to be part of community. We are meant to be part of relationships. We are meant to move with others. I believe that in my heart, in a really powerful way. But when you think of, if somebody invites you to a community, the first thing is, again, what am I going to learn? But then it's, who else is going to be there, right? Who else is going to be there? So some people are going to join your community purely because of who else is going to be there, because you bring together really amazing people, because you attract really amazing people. So just this past weekend, I had the amazing opportunity of speaking in an event for my friend Noemi. The event is, or her community is called Mama Counts, and she puts on Mama Counts Live. And it's just this beautiful event where she brings together these women who are starting bookkeeping and accounting businesses. And one of the things that I thought was just so amazing about this experience was the relationship between the women in that community, right? So they love Noemi, right? Noemi is amazing. She's so good at what she does. She has a big heart. They love her, but they also love the other people in that community, right? So people invested to be at that event, to learn from Noemi, to learn from myself, to learn from the other speakers, but they also invested to be at that event because of who else was going to be in that space. Who else was going to be there? Their friends were going to be there. So of course people are going to buy tickets to your event if their friends are going to be there, right? Of course people are going to want to hang out wherever you hang out if people that they know and like are going to be there, right? So many of the investments that I have made in my career personally are due to who else is in the room, right? I literally say I pay to be in the room all of the time. I pay to be in the room all of the time because of who else is going to be there. So when, again, you start to develop yourself as a thought leader, when you start to teach people really cool stuff, then they're going to be surrounded by other people who want to learn those things. They're going to be surrounded by really powerful people in that way. So again, this is another reason why we're so passionate about hand selecting your community and inviting people into your community, because when you can personally curate a really powerful space and a really powerful group of people, more people are going to want to be there, not only to learn from you, but also because of who else is going to be there. And that's really going to start to amplify you, help you grow your brand, help you grow your thought leadership. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're all trying to do is sign more clients, right? So really talking about, who do you bring together, right? So in practicality, okay, Ryan, how do I attract more of these people? Talk about who you bring together. Like for me, I bring together business owners, thought leaders, right? People who are big thinkers, visionaries, people who have big dreams and big goals, right? Like I can even, if you're watching this live, you can see the excitement start to course through my body when I think about, these are the types of clients that I get the opportunity to support. And I just love that so, so much. And I love those people because I'm inspired by my clients. So I'm making the assumption that other people are going to want to be part of our community so they can be inspired by those same people. So that's why you'll see us in our content talk about visionaries, and we talk about big dreamers, we talk about big thinkers, and we talk about people who do hard things, and we talk about people who, break free from the status quo. I do that intentionally, right? I call that out intentionally in my content because people want to be around those types of people. So they're like, ooh, this is who she's bringing together. I want to be part of that. So they want to learn, right? But they also want to be part of something. And so when we can talk about, why do people want to be part of what we do here, it gets to be really, really powerful and really fun. And then people get to self-select into the community because they want to be around those other people, right? And the third reason why I think people want to be in community is because of how it makes them feel, right? I alluded to this earlier, just very briefly, but like we are not meant to do life alone. That's not who we are as human beings. I don't think that is how we are created. I mean, we are literally designed to be in community. Whoever decided that we should all live in like individual houses and like close our garage doors and never talk to people is crazy, right? Like we are designed to be, especially as women, right? We are designed to be in community, to be around other people, to give and to receive from others, not just our core family unit, but people want to be in a community because of how it makes them feel, right? Because they feel inspired, because they feel excited, because they feel empowered, right? This is why we're so passionate about when we help our clients walk through the sales experience and how they're really actually taking stranger to buyer on the internet, right? How does that feel? How does that process feel? How do I feel? Do I feel like I am being talked down to, right? This is why I just created some short form content around like this is why I don't do pain point marketing, because if I start treating my audience and my community like they're stupid and really digging the knife in and turning it around, like nobody wants to be a part of that. That doesn't feel good. So will some people possibly maybe buy from you if you do that? Sure, right? They might. But ultimately, for me, what I want is I want my people to feel good. I want them to feel empowered. I want them to feel inspired. I want them to feel excited. I want them to feel the power of what they can actually create when they harness the power of community and audience building and ultimately lead generation. Like that's how I want my people to feel. So I want people who want to feel that way versus building a community where it's all broy and it's super masculine and we make people feel like shit and we talk down to people and we gossip about how stupid everybody else is and how everybody else's ideas are bad but mine. Like that is not a community I want to be a part of. Like I'm so turned off by any business owner who is talking about somebody else and how poorly they do things. You know, we throw rocks at things all the time. And I think there is a difference. I want to clarify. Like we throw rocks, like I throw rocks at bro marketing. I throw rocks at launching and webinars and challenges because ultimately, you know, my service, what I do as an agency is an antidote to having to do those things. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying so and so is stupid because they teach you how to live launch, or so and so doesn't even know what they're talking about because they depend on ads for their business, because that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good in my body. So I know that that's not going to attract the type of people who like that. So when we are following and watching other people and they're doing that, they're getting a lot of likes and they're getting a lot of follows and they're getting a lot of engagement. And we think, oh, well, I guess this is just the way that I have to do this. But again, how you market, you know, this is all an energetic thing. It's all a mirror. So if you're showing up talking shit about your competition and about all the other ways that things are doing it, you're going to attract people who like to talk shit. So you're going to build a community of people who like negativity and who like shit talking. And that's ultimately not what I think that you desire. I don't think that primarily because you're part of this community and that's not at all what I desire, right? A little bit of snark, a little bit of sarcasm, be yourself, yes, but ultimately people want to be part of a community because it makes them feel good. And as soon as that community does not feel good, and as soon as that community, they do not feel safe, as soon as they do not feel seen, heard, and understood, they will leave. So people want to be part of community because the way that it makes them feel. So when we approach our audience building, community building, lead generation strategy, we have to approach it from a way that makes people feel good. We have to approach it from a way that makes our people feel how we want our ideal clients to feel. And nobody's talking about this, right? It's all very tactic. And tactics are fine and they're powerful and they're important. We deploy plenty of them inside of the agency. But at the end of the day, the tactic is only as effective as the energy behind it. It's only as effective as the alignment that you're experiencing why you deploy these tactics. So it's always just, I just want to remind you to just be really careful about what tone are you taking, what tonality, how are you talking to people, what is your conversions process? Because again, if it starts to get into negative and pain point and just really kind of gross and yucky, that's the type of energy that you're going to get back because your people like to feel that way. Right. So people want to be in community because they want to learn. They want to be in community because of who they'll meet, and they want to be in community because of how it feels. So what do you do with this information? Right. Well, you need to now make sure that you craft a sales and marketing strategy that educates your people on what they need to be educated on to buy from you, that calls in the type of people that everybody wants to hang out with. Right. And then feels the way that you want your ideal client to feel. Right. What are they going to learn by being there? That's the first one. What are they going to learn? What are they going to learn? Right. Like for us, again, our goal is to teach our clients how to build audiences and communities that convert, right? Through developing thought leadership, that actually, and to actually make money in this process, right? Like that's what our people want to learn. How do I make money? They're building, like, how do I build an audience? How do I build a community that actually pays me without having to launch, without having to do webinars? How do I do that? Right. Like that's what my people want to learn. So I'm constantly creating content that speaks to that, right? And then who will they meet? This is again, while I'm constantly calling out thought leaders and visionaries and people who want to make an impact and people who want to do ABC, XYZ, because again, that's who I'm going to call in. And then ultimately, how do I want my people to feel? I told you, inspired and empowered. So 96% of what you see come out of here is going to be empowered and inspired. And when you look at it from that umbrella, what are they going to learn? Who are they going to meet? And how do they feel? Then you can then start creating content. Then you can start reaching out to people. Then you can actually start inviting people into that ecosystem. But you have to be mindful of how are they going to feel when they get here, because that feeling is ultimately what is going to determine whether or not they buy anything from you, right? You can invite people into your world all day long, right? But if they don't feel a certain way when they get there, they will leave or they will not buy anything from you. So we're not just following the blind tactics of what we teach as an agency, because again, there's tactic and strategy behind what we do, but there's also the feeling and the emotion and the excitement and the end results that your people are going to get by being there. And then the final thing that I will say before I wrap us up. So one of the things about community and people, different thoughts, different thought processes, but I know that some people get caught up in like, well, community, am I going to make money if I launch a community, right? Like I'm here to make money. And don't get me wrong, friend, I'm here to make money too. Like we are all businesses. Our number one responsibility is to make money. If we do not make money, we do not have a business, right? So we're all here to make money, but I would rather call in clients who are community focused and impact driven than merely move through excuse me, than merely move through this like step-by-step process. So I'll give you an example. We are marketing our community builder offer, which is our done for you content and conversations kind of program that we help our clients do what we're talking about here today. And I had a guy reach out to me and I was like, cool, thanks so much for the interest. Like, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about what you do. And all this guy wanted to do was make money. He's like, I just want to sell this software. I just want to sell this software. I just want to sell this software. And I ultimately decided that he wasn't a good fit for us to work with because well, yes, we're all here to make money. Our ideal client is heart driven and impact driven. And he never once told me this software helps my people do X, or I'm really passionate about this because he was like, I just want to sell more software. I just want to sell more software. So again, that is an opportunity for me to be like, this person does not belong in this community because we don't have shared values, right? Because this person isn't going to be somebody, if this is who they'll meet inside of my community, I don't, this is not who I want representing my community. So it's just really being mindful of how do we do this in an intentional way so that people can come together and they feel empowered and inspired, or whatever your feelings are, right? Maybe you want your people to feel differently. But really being mindful about this and building the intention behind this is what's going to fuel your sales and marketing systems, right? This energy, this intention is actually what fuels the tactic of whatever tactics you're doing. And again, I'm also a both and kind of girl because I don't believe that my way is the only way. I believe that all ways work if you believe that they'll work and you'll commit to them. But for me, I'm always trying to do business in the way that feels the most aligned and feels the best for me. So educating my people well, bringing together really badass people, making sure they feel empowered and inspired, creating content in that way really feels good to me to be able to to make an impact. And then ultimately at the end of the day, our goal is conversion. So then I told you that was my last thing, but this is why I typically go unplanned, because it's like, oh, this is a good thought. So then we're like, okay, cool, Ryan, I've built a community. How do I get them to buy stuff from me? Right. So sometimes again, people worry that audience building and community building isn't actually going to convert leads. Your community and your audience, they are leads. I'm literally just using a different word because of the energy behind the word. Because again, leads churn, burn, numbers, like it doesn't, to me at least, just generating leads doesn't feel good. It doesn't imply relationship. It doesn't imply connection. It doesn't imply education. It doesn't imply, any of those other things. But at the end of the day, our intention here is that we build communities that buy things from us. But this is why the baseline of this is so important, that we have to set that foundation, that we have to have those intentions behind it, that we have to be mindful of what it is that we're looking to create, because that's how we get them to buy stuff. Because if they share our values, right? If they know us, like us, trust us, and they think we know what we're talking about, and they share our values, it just becomes logical for them to buy something from you. Versus if they just feel like they're being churned through a funnel, or they just feel like they're being churned through a sales process. And you can feel the energy behind it every single time, right? You have received those DMs on social media that have felt warm and connection focused. And you've also received those DMs on social media that have felt like nobody gives a shit about you, and it's churn and burn, and they don't care about you, and they don't care about the results that they get people. That is the difference here. It is literally semantics. I'm very intentionally choosing a different word, but the goal here is that when we build communities and we build audiences, that they're always built with the intention to convert. I will never forget the story. Funnel Hacking Live, my first FHL, so that must have been 21. this woman got up there and she talked about how she was literally on like the NASDAQ screen in Times Square, like being interviewed, and she was making no money. So she had an audience, right? She had people, she had eyeballs, she had visibility, but she had no strategy to take those people from eyeballs to paying client, right? That's why, like I said, building community is just the first step. We then need the conversion process, right? If you've heard me talk about our 4 C's of connection marketing, right? We have to connect, create, and then we have to convert. We have to convert them into paying clients. So this isn't just a blanket top of the funnel. This is how you build the top of your funnel. You always want to be mindful of, okay, as I move people through my funnel, what is my conversion process? And do all of these parts and pieces work together? Right. So you want to build a community where that people want to learn what it is that you're going to teach, that you want to bring together the type of people that the people that you want to bring in want to meet. And then finally, you want them to feel the way that you want your clients to feel. And you do that by the energy and the intention behind what you do. So thank you very much, my friends. And we will see you all next week. Thank you so much for listening to Content and Conversations. If this was helpful for you, I would love if you would follow along, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you next week.